Hey everybody, this is Gilbert. I know I haven't been on YouTube in a very long time, too long, but honestly, don't really care much about making videos anymore on YouTube. I mainly do stuff on Facebook, but I wanted to make a video today because I have a lot to talk about. Obviously, there's something that went down this weekend in Orlando that really affect a lot of people emotionally and physically. And I needed to address it because I have a lot to say on this. And doing a video does justice for me. So I gotta say, my condolences go out to all the victims' friends and families. I can't imagine what they're going through right now. The 49 people that passed away, and also to the 53 people that are still hurt, most of them in critical condition, still in the hospital fighting for their lives. We all pray that they get well and they make it. So, another mass shooting happened in the USA. And honestly, it's become such commonplace here in America. Mass shootings don't surprise me anymore. And that's sickening to even think that way. But the past few years, over the past 10 years, we've gotten so many mass shootings, whether it's in a church, a movie theater, a school, now a nightclub. When does this end? When does this kind of behavior stop? I honestly don't ever see that happening. The gun laws is a whole other issue here in America, and people on both sides that want gun laws, that gun control laws, or they just want, a right to bear arms, I see both sides to the story. I definitely do. But my thing is, what would possess someone to own a military weapon, an assault weapon, a machine gun, a big gun that's used in the military during war? Why would one person want a big gun like that? I can understand wanting a handgun, a rifle to go hunting, but these assault weapons that are made for the military to be used, that's getting bought more and more recently over the years, that has to stop. And I just don't understand the people that oppose this, how they can say that everyone has a right to bear arms when people are buying really big guns like machine guns and assault rifles. I just don't understand that. So, on to the Pulse nightclub. The media is trying to spin it as much as they can, but let's not be mistaken here. What happened in Orlando was a hate crime, first and foremost. Before it was a terrorist act, that was a hate crime, because that murderer, who I refuse to say his name, that murderer had hate in his heart for the LGBT community. Now, they say that he called 911 to pledge his allegiance to ISIS. I'm sure ISIS had no clue who the fuck this guy was. But he wants to pledge his allegiance to them. There you go. But these type of lone wolves that are taking place recently in America, like with the San Bernardino massacre, the married couple, one was American, one wasn't, but the man had pledged his allegiance to ISIS. I'm sure ISIS didn't know who the fuck he was either, probably. But of course, ISIS take credit for all these massacres after the fact, when they hear that their group is, being basically responsible for it. But really, there's been so many reports the past few days on the killer. And we heard interviews from his father, his ex-wife. So many things are being revealed about this man. And from my acknowledgments, I think the guy was a closet case. His ex-wife, he was only married to for about 3 or 4 months, she claimed that he knew he was gay or in the closet. He visited the Pulse nightclub. He more than one occasion. He has a profile on Grindr and some other gay hookup site. Mind you, those apps, those gay dating apps, those are hookup apps, straight up. Those are apps where you go to find a guy to get your dick off. Make no bones about it. So if he's on that, obviously there's something there. that needs to be investigated, because we've said this all in the past. When it comes to homophobes, most of them are so homophobic that they're in the closet themselves. Like, you've heard people say this a lot over the years. And we've had priests that molest children, boys in particular. We've had politicians from the conservative Republican right wing that's been shown to have, bought prostitutes, male prostitutes, and other things with men. But they all have in common is they go after gay people out in the public. They go after not wanting LGBT to have any kind of rights, any kind of civil rights. But these people are so self-hating and self-loathing about themselves that they have to hide who they really are and go after the one thing that they really are. So in this case, it remains to be seen if the real motive was because his father claims he saw two guys kissing on the beach. His kids saw them kissing on the beach, and that's what set him off. Whether that really was the trigger point, we won't really know. But it's leaning towards that way, that he was a closet case. And if that's the case, it absolutely pisses me off even more that this bastard killed 49 people because of his hatred for gays and for not accepting himself. Now, we hear Donald Trump, that piece of shit. We hear Donald Trump talk about Muslims and banning Muslims. This guy is so close to becoming the leader of the free world, the president of the United States of America. And this guy who is just speaking this rhetoric, this hate speech, on and on and on, he's touching a nerve with a lot of Americans that are angry and pissed off, and they're following his shit. And it's scary to think that a guy like that may be the president of the United States, but it could be a possibility there. This guy, how he wants to deal with Muslims. I mean, just make things even more worse. People want to shit on Obama because he don't want to say the term radical Islam, but really, saying that word, what's it going to do? There's still going to be mass shootings. There's still going to be those crazy ISIS people wanting to plot and kill Americans and do some harm. So what's saying that word going to really do? So, I mean, it's a lot to take in the past few days. People are all over the place with how they're feeling, and rightfully so. Everyone has a right to feel the way they want to feel. But what pisses me off also, I watch CNN and MSNBC and Fox, and you get all these like politicians from Florida, especially now, like Marco Rubio and Rick Scott, and the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. They're all like talking about how they hurt for the LGBT community and they feel for us and all this bullshit. But all those people are directly linked to saying anti-gay rhetoric in the past, slamming down civil rights laws for gay and lesbian people, rejecting them, but now they all of a sudden care. And there's a whole bunch of people like that as well that normally will never say the word LGBT out their mouth, but now because of this tragedy, they want to talk about that. But for how long? For how long is that going to last? For how long are those type of people going to even care about the LGBT community before they move on to something else? You got to put your money where your mouth is, folks. If you really care about our community, fight for us. And while we're like trying to get all these laws passed to protect us, you have to stand with us, really stand with us, and show that you really are a supporter of the LGBT community. But we see a lot of that rhetoric. But going back to the gun laws in this country, if the massacre in Sandy Hook, where we saw kids, children mowed down, slaughtered, if kids like that got killed didn't change the gun laws in this country, what will? I honestly don't see the gun laws changing in this country anytime soon. The NRA is extremely powerful. But beyond that, if little kids dying doesn't change anything, what will? Honestly, think about that. Hillary Clinton is going to say She wants to change the gun laws, but how is she going to actually do it? Donald Trump doesn't want to change the gun laws. We all know that. But something has to be done, because an average person should not be able to buy a machine gun and an assault rifle or a big, massive, deadly weapon that can cause harm to many people. But this is the world we live in right now. And it's sad. It's truly fucked up. But what I gotta say to people is June is Gay Pride Month. Still go out there, be yourself. To those closeted kids all around the country, especially in those rural, small towns, those closeted kids, they probably see something like what happened in Orlando and they get scared and they probably don't want to come out the closet now. Don't let that incident affect you. Because there's people out there that's going to love and support you. You may not know it now, you may not see it now, but it will happen. Don't let stuff like this mess your life up, because that's what the terrorists want. They want to put fear in people's lives. They want to disrupt people's lives so they can't live their lives normally. So as an openly gay man, I'm telling all my openly gay brothers and sisters out there to still fight the good fight. Be yourself. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. Celebrate who you are, and don't let these haters, these homophobes, these despicable, evil people change the way you live your life.